Welcome back to Defining Moments podcast. My name is Wong Lam, and today's very special guest is the founder and the owner of OKC Sweets, Stefanie Embree. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, it's good to be here.
Absolutely. We came across your Instagram post probably a few months ago, and we just been kind of tagging, liking, and it's like, man, this is awesome. And so I was like, well, let's see if we can reach out to her, and she want to come on the podcast. And we met a few weeks ago, probably about 7 weeks ago.
Yeah.
At Whole Foods, and you, me, my wife, and ever since then, it's just been love ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well.
Yeah.
I got to send my children with my husband to a birthday party.
Yeah.
And so I'm just really excited to be here and I don't know, doing something adult.
So, we call this adulting, I guess.
Yeah. It's an adult time.
So how are the kids though?
They're really good.
Yeah.
I have two boys that are twins and they're
Mhm.
6. And then my daughter is 4. And so, yeah, they're really good. They're in
Wow.
school and they're crazy.
Yeah. Your husband?
My husband is good.
Yeah.
Just really busy all the time. He works full time and then he has a business of his own and he also referees. So he's been reffing football during
Wow.
football season, high school
Man.
football. So that's been
Yeah.
kind of fun.
Yeah. He does big green boxes.
Yes, big
Yeah.
green moving boxes.
Big green moving boxes. I know that because I actually follow him on Instagram, but
Oh,
I
nice.
actually interact with him on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
He's actually
Great.
so kind enough to reply to some of my tweets and
Good.
let me hijack some of his threads. And so it's actually pretty fun.
I know nothing about Twitter, but my
Yeah.
husband does.
So 2020, are you going to try getting on Twitter?
Maybe so, if my husband will put me on there. If he wants to run it for me, then I'm all in.
Yeah. Let's talk cakes for a few
Yeah.
minutes. How did you get into this?
So I feel like that's such a broad question. So I've always loved baking. I can remember in high school, like my friend and I buying those like funfetti box mixes, and making those and thinking that those were just super delicious and awesome. And I guess they were at the time.
Yeah.
And then in college, I did some baking. And then when Steven and I got married, I just really developed a love for cookbooks and I would just like read them like novels and go through them and baking. And I started doing a lot of baking. Kind of at that time in our lives, we'd have friends over. And so I always, you want a good spread.
Yeah.
My dad had a big 50th birthday party and I made all the desserts for his party. And it was a big party.
Yeah.
And so then from that point on, I was like, this is really fun, I think.
Yeah.
I think this is something that, I kind of have a talent for. Excuse me. And so through that, I started making these oatmeal cream pies, like homemade ones that were really, really good. And I had some people that were buying those. I mostly was just giving them away, but it kind of spurred in Steven and I this idea that maybe we should do something with it. Maybe we should turn it into something. And so we started just kind of looking around. We didn't know what we wanted to do, if we wanted it to be like a little cafe or a bakery or what, but we had the idea in our mind. And then I found out that I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And then we found out that it was twins. And
Nice.
so that kind of, that's like a whole other part of my life.
Yeah.
But that put everything on standstill for us. And so then fast forward several children and several years later, I had continued baking and loving it. Through that time, Oklahoma actually passed it's like cottage law or a home bakers act where you can bake from home and sell it.
Okay.
You don't have to be licensed by the state health department. But there are limitations on what you can sell, how much money you can make and things like that. And so, I guess almost 2 years ago now, I'd been making some cakes and sort of realizing that was something that I really loved doing and had some encouragement and just decided to go for it.
Go for it.
It's
I
kind
like
of blown
it.
up.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love the attitude you go for it. I want to talk about your twins real quick. So do you have twins that run in the family?
They don't, right? Well, I say they don't. They kind of do, actually. I have a third cousin who has twins.
Okay.
my dad has a cousin who has twins. But
Okay.
they're pretty far removed. This was
Okay.
not expected at
Okay.
all.
Okay. I was asking because my wife's aunt and uncle are a set of twins.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, man, if there's a button, it's like, hey, I want to hit twins and 2-for-1 special, let's do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I don't know
Well,
if we can or
there's medication you can take that increases your chances.
Oh, is it?
But
Okay.
fertility medication
Yeah.
if you're having trouble. But no, so that was definitely what's funny about it is it was a surprise, yet it was so I found out that that I was pregnant. Stephen was not.
Yeah.
Found out that I was pregnant, and so my dad is a family doctor.
Mm.
And I vividly remember like one Sunday afternoon, but my mom has all the like senses. She just knows things.
Okay.
And one Sunday afternoon, she was like, I hadn't gone to the doctor yet. And she was like, I think you're already showing. And she was like, Joe, to my dad, she's like, do you think she's having twins? And he was like, Connie, I don't know. They'll find out at the doctor's appointment. But it was funny because I had like when I'd be praying and I'd be like, please be with the baby or babies. Like, I just wanted to cover my bases.
Yeah.
Like, God wouldn't cover one, if I didn't pray for it. And so then, like, we went to the doctor's appointment and, like, sure enough, it was very vividly, like, 2 babies.
Yeah.
But the doctor was like, do you see what I see? And I was like, I don't know. What do you see? Because I didn't want to say it if it wasn't for sure. But even though that's what I thought. But yeah. And I just kept saying, oh my word, we're going to need 2 cribs. Like, this is crazy. We're going to have 2 cribs. And my husband's like, Stefanie, we're going to have 2 college tuitions. I was like, well, we'll get there.
Man, that is so awesome. That he said 2 college tuitions. You're like 2 cribs.
I'm in the moment.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Things will work out in the future.
Yeah. As you're talking about this, I'm thinking, man, maybe this is a good chance to upgrade to a bigger car, like a big Tahoe or 4Runner, something like that.
We did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Well, we eventually did. So when they were born, I had a very difficult pregnancy, and they were born at 25 weeks. So they were 15 weeks early.
Wow.
They were, they're the babies that you can put your wedding ring around their wrist and we have pictures of that. And they were born 15 weeks early. And so we spent 81 days in the NICU. And, but yeah, when they came home, we still had my little Honda Civic. And so that was super tight. We got a larger car fairly quickly.
Wow. So they were born 15 weeks early.
They were, yeah. And
NICU for 81 days.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind as all this is happening?
Well, so I had, the May 20th tornado. I don't know if you remember that and more.
Yeah.
No, not 20th. I'm losing.
I was like,
yeah, it was May 20th, right? 2013?
2013.
Wasn't that the 20th?
Work, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. So I was a music teacher, actually. I taught middle school orchestra. And we had to get all the kids to the basement, and I was pregnant, 22 weeks pregnant, I believe.
Oh,
and so when all that happened, we lived South OKC, and we were not hit, but couldn't get back to my house after work. So I drove to my parents' house, and which worked out. They lived in Edmond, and I had an appointment at Mercy a couple days later with my specialist, because twins are considered high risk. And so you see a specialist throughout your pregnancy.
Oh, okay.
And it was at that appointment, and my mom and my husband went to that appointment with me. And I was sitting there, and the doctor they had checked me, and the doctor came in, and he was like, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put you in a wheelchair, and we're going to go up to the we're going to go up to the 6th floor, and you're going to stay there. And so I did. They took me up. I was already dilated, and I didn't realize it, but I was already contracting. And yeah. And so I spent the next until 25 weeks. So it was like 22 and 4 days. And I had him at 25. So I spent the rest of the time in the hospital. And that was just like the day of, it was so scary. I just thought they were going to fall out. But then like that time of rest in the hospital, people are like, how could you stand that? But it was very, very peaceful time for me because I was, surrounded by people who their whole goal was to help keep me pregnant. And we were just surrounded by love from friends. Our friends from our church mowed our lawn that entire time. Wow. The entire time our kids were in the NICU. They brought meals for us so we didn't have to eat hospital food. They bought my husband a cot so he could sleep in the hospital room because we didn't have any other kids then. So
Wow.
Anyway, it just was, I don't know, it was like a really difficult time, yet a peaceful time. And then the boys were born, and that was pretty traumatic.
Yeah.
But we were at Mercy Hospital, and just that that team was incredible.
Yeah.
Super incredible. So
Wow. That's amazing.
anyway,
It's giving me chills.
yeah.
Like, that's really cool. The support, though. The support that you have from
Yeah,
your
it
church, your friends,
was
family.
huge.
It's amazing.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom, she was there every day and every night, and my
Yeah.
dad would come by before he went to work every morning. And
Mm.
um yeah, it was like, looking back, I mean, it's just such a difficult time, but it's also such a, it's where you really start to feel the love and understand how much people care.
Yeah. That's true. Everything aside, people really do care. I feel
Yeah.
like people have a moral obligation to one another to help each other through
Yeah.
times and situations.
Yeah.
So you had twins. They're 6 years old now.
They're 6 years old now, and they're
Yeah.
healthy, and
That's amazing.
yeah, they're such miracles. They're crazy.
Yeah.
In a good way, in all the best ways.
For sure.
They're just so much, I don't know, I'm sure all children are crazy. They have
Yeah.
so much energy.
Yeah.
We have a lot of, I don't know, they're obsessed with lots of things. We have a Home Alone obsession right now that's pretty intense. Um, Also math obsession, which is pretty great. Like, he's like, let's do our 39 times tables. And I'm like, I don't think you're ready for that, but I
Wow.
love that that that's a thing.
That is actually pretty awesome.
I know, it's
Yeah.
really funny.
Yeah. And you guys have a
But
4-year-old as well.
and then we have a daughter as
Yeah.
well. Yes. So our daughter Elle came to our family through adoption. We had always known that we wanted to adopt,
Mm.
and that had never been like a backup plan or anything. It was always something that we felt called to. And
Okay.
so when the boys were, like 2.5. Well, so we always knew we wanted to adopt from China, and you have to be 30 years old to adopt from China.
Oh,
That's their age, China's age requirements
okay.
for adoption. And so I literally, like, nobody's ever wanted to be 30 like I've wanted to be 30. I was like, once I hit 30, and then I could stop. Like, I don't have to get any older, but like, I
Love
want
it.
to be 30.
Yeah.
And so our agency, we had started talking about, we wanted to expand our family. What did we want to do? I was always like, let's have 11 children. And Steven's like, we're having 3. So like, figure out what you want. But no, we were like laying in bed one night talking about it. And he was like, well, like, we planned on adopting. Let's adopt.
Yeah.
And so we started that process. I hit 29 and a half, and that's when our agency would let you start your paperwork.
Okay.
So I started the paperwork. We thought it would take a while, because international adoption typically takes a while.
Uh-huh.
And it was literally 9 months from start to finish.
Wow.
And so, yeah, that itself was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we have an incredible daughter who she was 22 months when she came home.
Oh,
So I suddenly
wow.
had 3 toddlers.
Yeah, I was gonna say 22
And
months. That's almost,
yeah.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And so, as far as the gender, were you able to pick, or when you
So
adopt,
you
how's that
can,
work?
yeah, there's different ways that you can do
Okay.
it. So with China, all of the children that are available for adoption have special needs. And so
Okay.
going into it, and any child who comes from a hard place has special needs.
Yeah.
And that can be whether they're foster children, whether they're adopted, whether they're like my boys and they just come from trauma from their birth. So we're
Yeah.
full of, like, that's kind of what our family is made up of.
Mm.
But that's not a bad thing.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of beauty and a lot of healing in that. But anyway, so we knew going into it that we would have a child with special needs, but then there's like levels of that, and you truly have to go into it with what your family can handle and what you feel comfortable with. We prayed over it, and just we felt really confident that we wanted a daughter simply because we had 2 boys already.
Mm-hmm.
If we ever adopt again, I'm like anything.
Yeah.
But we felt like that was what was right for our family, and we also didn't mind if things took longer. They didn't.
Yeah.
And so anyway, yeah. So we specified a daughter. and we kind of wanted to keep birth order, and our
Yeah.
boys were 2.5. So under the age of 2 was kind of what we had
Wow. So
in
they're
mind.
close in age and everything.
They're very close in age and such good
Man.
friends.
Yeah.
And so anyway, yeah, so we submitted our dossier to China. It got there, and like, I don't know, 2 weeks later, I got a phone call that we had been matched, which was shocking. Um,
Wow.
and it turns out like her needs really have not been needs at all. Like, she's healthy. I mean, like, it's just amazing, and she's amazing, and just
Oh.
like the perfect fit for our family.
Yeah.
My parents have also adopted, and that was kind of one of the things that really, I don't know, they've lived by example, I guess
Yeah.
you could say. And so that it's kind of neat because my siblings are from China as well. And so my daughter has that connection,
Man.
like with ethnicity and things like
Yeah.
that. We have just a big heart for China and the Chinese people and culture things.
Man.
So
That's
yeah,
powerful.
yeah.
I don't know if we need to continue. I think that was we wow.
I'm super excited to be here and get to kind of share my story because it's
Absolutely.
something that is close to my heart.
Yeah. Man. So how you specified the gender and then do they bring the baby over by a plane or how
No, so with our adoption,
yeah.
there's just tons of paperwork and all sorts of things, and I don't know, adoption is very, very expensive,
Mm-hmm.
and that's, I mean, there are valid reasons for that. A lot of it is to keep things ethical
Yeah, for
and
sure.
things like that. And that was another thing where we just sort of took a leap of faith, because like financially, we weren't necessarily at a place where we should jump right in, but we just felt like it was the time. We had kind of prayed over it, and it was amazing because every step of the way we had what we needed for that for
Yeah.
that moment. We had friends who just had huge hearts for adoption,
Yeah.
who jumped alongside of us and supported us, with their time, financially. We had so many just like gifts to help. And it was amazing, to see like this whole community come together to be a part of giving a child a home.
Yeah.
And so even though like right now, my husband says we're done having children, we shall see.
Yeah.
But for now, we are like, there's so many ways that you can be involved,
Yeah.
in supporting families and in supporting children, because that's who it's really about, is the
Yeah.
children, because children deserve to have a family.
100%.
But anyway, so for our adoption, um, once everything was in order, we traveled to China. It's a 2-week trip. The first 2 to 3 days are spent in Beijing, or wherever you land. We landed in Beijing,
Mm-hmm.
but kind of getting acclimated, and that that's kind of a time where you do some sightseeing and enjoy, the first couple days. We didn't take our children
I was gonna ask
on
about
that
yeah,
trip.
okay.
No, we wanted to just kind of have that time. A
That
lot of
makes
people
sense.
do and love it, but we knew our boys.
Yeah.
It just was not, would not have been as positive. And so then we flew to our daughter's province, and landed. We met another couple that was also adopting that evening, had dinner, on the streets, which was really fun. Our guide
Yeah.
took us out, and then the next day we met our daughter. And
Wow. What was that moment like when you met your
it
daughter?
was really, really precious. She had a little monkey backpack on, and she had been in foster care. She was very fortunate in that regard,
Mm.
to have been with, from everything I've been able to see, a very kind family. And so they were there. But yeah, she just tootled in her little
Oh.
backpack, and she's 22 months old, tiny, 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 but she
Yeah.
could speak, a lot at that point. And yeah, she just tootled in, and she was very afraid of my husband. I don't know if she just hadn't been around many men. I think
Mm.
that the
Yeah.
household was primarily women.
Gotcha.
But my husband is also 6'2" and quite tall.
Mm.
And so I think that probably was a little overwhelming for her, but um, we had a little doll that we had made by someone, and she took the doll, and we had a couple little toys, and it was really hard. It was difficult when the foster family had to leave, because she cried,
Oh,
really,
man.
really cried herself to sleep. But it was also just such a beautiful moment because she let me hold her,
Yeah.
and she just cried as I held her and sang to her, and she fell asleep. And then from that moment on, like, I was her person. She would not let me go,
Oh,
would not let
man.
anybody else have anything to do with her, including my husband, which
Yeah.
after 2 weeks, that was a little challenging,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but it was also, we had hoped that, she would bond quickly, at least with me,
Yeah.
because I was going to be the primary caregiver, and she did. And so our trip was really awesome. We were able to do a lot. We were able to sightsee a lot with
Yeah.
her because she was still so small. I could wear her, and I
Oh,
did, just the entire time.
yeah.
And so, yeah. And so then you fly to Guangzhou, which is where the U.S. consulate is,
Okay.
and so you have like a medical appointment, and um, get. I think we got her passport there. Oh, our paperwork. It was Chinese New Year, like the very next
Oh,
week.
wow.
And our paperwork was not filled out correctly. And when we got to Guangzhou, our guide was like, by the way, some of this was not correct. And so we're going to have it shipped here from the last province. And well, they had quit shipping things because it was almost, not quite, but it was almost
Yeah.
Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
So they literally took our paperwork, our important adoption paperwork, to the airport, found a person flying to Guangzhou, and asked him. I'm sure they paid him. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
But they were like, "Would you please carry these important documents on the airplane with you?" And our guide in Guangzhou met this stranger at the airport and
Whoa.
got our documents. And so I had totally forgotten about that. Oh my goodness, you reminded me. Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna have to stay here. I was like, Steven, you
Oh.
have to go back and work, and like our sons. But it all worked out. But
Yeah.
there was a solid 24 hours where we weren't sure
I'm
when
sure.
we would be going home.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I mean, I love China. I
Yeah, yeah.
was ready to see my twins.
No, no. Yeah, 100%.
My mother and mother-in-law were also ready for us to come home because they were taking care of our
Oh.
twins. But
Oh,
yeah,
man.
so everything did work out, but I had totally forgotten about that. That was kind of a crazy side note to that
Dang,
story.
that's intense. But Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year is pretty
Yes.
special.
Oh, it is. And it
Yeah.
was really neat because even though we weren't there for that, we
Uh-huh.
were there right before. And so they had started decorating. And our hotel in Guangzhou, there was a huge park that had all these incredible decorations in
Mm-hmm.
preparation. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was a really exciting time to be there.
Yeah. And what's your daughter's name?
Elle.
Elle. Does she
Mhm.
have a Chinese name
She
too?
does,
So
and we
okay.
kept that in
That's
her name,
cool.
Elle Ruth Yulan Embree. They called her Lon Lon, which I love. Um,
Man, that's like a law firm name. It's like 4 names.
yeah, and her Chinese name was Zhao Yulan. Um,
Okay.
and they typically, when a child is found, they give them like a name from that area, or like
Yeah.
the orphanage name or whatever, and then another name. So we kept a part of
Oh
that.
my gosh. Such an incredible story.
She's precious.
Oh
She's
man.
very, very special.
Yeah. Well, in Oklahoma City, they celebrate the Lunar New Year in
Yes.
style in Oklahoma
Yeah.
City.
There's
So
a
yeah.
lot, which is really exciting because we want that to be something that, that's very important. So, and
Yeah.
she loves the fact that she's from China.
Oh
It's
yeah.
very special
That's
to us.
awesome.
And we talk about it a lot.
Well, I think it's awesome that she does that. I think it's even more like just impressive that you and your husband have embraced it. And it's like, hey, this is America, and here's the culture, and here's your culture, and how can we mesh them both together?
Yeah.
That's so
It's really
awesome.
important.
Oh yeah, super important.
Yeah.
We go to the temple, and during the Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year, they have lion dances and all that. So
Oh,
we'll keep you guys
awesome.
posted.
Please
They
do.
dance up and down 23rd Street and along
Oh,
Classen.
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we'll keep you posted and give you a schedule when that time comes, and
Yes.
bring
Yeah.
her out, bring
We
your
want to be
twins
there.
out,
Oh,
and
yeah.
yeah, love
They're
to see you
all
guys out
they're
there
all like, when
sometime.
are we going to China? I'm like, when you're a little bit older. when when we make a little more money.
Oh man,
We can take all of you.
wow! I bet your husband loves golf.
He does love golf.
Yeah, and I'll
Yes.
tell you why I know that here in a little bit. Well,
I
Well, I
think
think I
I
know.
know.
Yeah. So let's shift back to the cake
Yeah.
business. I've seen your Instagram post. You make all these cakes that are so vibrant. It's almost like every day is a holiday. I feel like that's how you celebrate. And
Yeah.
so, how do you come up with something so authentic and unique when there are tons of Halloween cakes, for instance, designs?
Well, I mean, all inspiration comes from somewhere. You know what I mean? My
Yep.
husband loves to say nothing new under the sun. And I'm like, but my design is new. He's like, no, it's
Mm,
not. But no, I think and I have so many friends just kind of in that world through Instagram, which is
mm,
funny, but they feel like true friends.
yeah.
Um and you just see things and it kind of sparks something in you, or maybe you see a design someone has and you're like, I want to try that, but I'm going to put kind of a different spin on it. And
Mm,
yeah, I mean, I can't claim anything as 100% my own because
yeah.
I definitely just like, I get so much inspiration
Yeah.
just from everywhere, but it is really fun to take that and then create something that's, unique to yourself. I do a
Yeah.
lot of, I say a lot of. I do some hand painted cakes. I really, really love to do that. And I do feel like that's something that's kind of unique. You don't see a whole lot of that.
Yeah.
But I love to do
Man, so hand painted cakes?
that.
So tell me about hand painted cakes. I don't really
Yeah.
understand the terminology.
So I make buttercream cakes. I don't do fondant, if you know what fondant is. It's like the roll it out and you lay it over the cake and it's kind of a little bit thicker and
Oh,
chewier.
okay. Yeah.
So a lot of people do fondant cakes, which is great. But I love buttercream because it tastes so wonderful. And I love what you can do with it. And fondant stresses me out. So I'm like, I don't need any more stress in my life. And I love buttercream. So that's kind of what I go with. But so I coat it with like a layer of buttercream and make
Okay.
sure it's really, really smooth.
Yeah.
Then I give it some time to the outer layer will develop. I call it a crust. It's not like hard crust, but it's kind of I don't know, it allows me to paint on it with a light
Mm.
hand. And then I take my food gels, my food coloring gels, and you just mix them. You dilute them just a little bit with like a drop of like Everclear or something like that. You could use lemon extract, but that allows things it evaporates really quickly and
Uh,
just lets it dry pretty quickly. And then I paint like a painter.
wow.
I can't paint on canvas. Or maybe I could. I don't know. I've
Yeah.
tried before and it
Yeah.
didn't go very well. But I love to paint
But
on
you can paint it
cake.
on a cake.
Yeah.
Wow. How long does it take from start to finish for just
Oh
an
my goodness.
average cake?
I don't know. I get that question fairly often. And it just kind of it's steps, it's stages. So I've never
Mm.
really like timed myself from start to
Mm.
finish. But you have the baking stage,
Yeah.
the mixing stage, which maybe takes, I don't know, 10 minutes, and then the baking, which takes 30-ish, and then cooling,
Yeah.
and then you have to layer the cake and crumb coat it, and that's the beginning coat. It seals all the crumbs in so that when you put your second coat on,
Yeah.
there's no crumbs and everything is nice and clean.
Wow.
And go watch some more of my videos.
Yeah.
You'll see it'll make more sense as you watch it now because
Yeah.
it's lots of different stages, and so then you have to kind of chill it in between each stage.
Yeah.
So it definitely, I mean, it's a process.
Yeah.
And then the dishes.
Who does the dishes?
My grandma.
What?
Oh, sorry.
What?
Not always,
Oh.
but sometimes. It's a really wonderful day when grandma comes over and I have a sink full of dishes because she will always do them.
She's like,
And I
I got you, honey.
appreciate it so much, grandma,
That's
if you
cool.
listen to this.
Yeah. Well, she have to listen to that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's a huge blessing because
Man.
the dishes.
Yeah. Your kids ever comes like, hey, mom, I want to try some of this cake.
Oh, all the time. I've
Yeah.
found my child, like when I'm finished, under the table, like on lots of occasions with a piping bag full of frosting, just eating it. Always after I've decorated the cakes.
Yeah, for
Always
sure.
after that's
For
done. But
sure.
no, I get the question, is this for us or a customer? A lot.
Mm.
But they know now, like they don't touch anything.
Yeah.
But it is sweet. My daughter, she's like, when I grow up, I want to be a baker just like you.
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
yay.
That's too cute.
Yeah.
You talk about videos. I've watched a few videos and it's phenomenal. And that's why I felt like I know that your husband likes golf because he made himself
Yes.
master's cake. It was actually pretty decent
I
looking.
couldn't believe
I
it.
was
I mean, I could
impressed.
believe it.
Yeah.
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 That was really a funny situation because he had this idea that it would be fun to like for him to do a cake and for me to put it on Instagram. So I was like, okay. And he let me make the buttercream and he let me make the cake layers. He didn't do the baking, but then he
Okay.
did everything else.
Okay.
And so like the mixing the colors and all of that. So he started so when I put my colors in, like you do it like a little dabble, do you? You just do
Mhm.
a little bit at a time before you mix it up. But I was watching him and he wouldn't let me give him any advice. And he's just like, "Ugh." So there's a lot of green in that cake.
Yeah.
But so he started stirring, and I was like, okay, I'm going to make a quick Walmart run because it was right around the corner from our house and I forget what I needed. But I left, I came back, and he was still stirring that same green. It took a really long time. But it was really fun for me to see what he did because it kind of
Yeah.
showed me like he has been watching like what I'm doing and like
That's so
taking in
cool.
a lot of that. You
Yeah.
don't think anybody notices, but
Yeah.
they do. So
Yeah.
that was actually really fun. And then a lot of people on Instagram had their husbands decorate cakes after that. And so that became kind of a fun little
Man, a little trendy, huh?
I know.
Wow. But when people ask for a specific cake, does it ever go through your mind like, oh, dude, this is impossible?
Well, so I try to be true to what kind of my specialty is.
Awesome.
So if somebody asks for a cake that just isn't something that I do, I've got several friends who are local that I'll recommend.
That's so cool.
Which is it's awesome to have a community and 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 not feel like we're competing with each other
Yeah.
necessarily, but to have friends that I maybe haven't met in person, but that I feel that we've talked and
Yeah.
I feel like I can. So if somebody wants a fondant cake, I'm not going to do that because it's just not my
Yeah.
specialty. It'll just stress me
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
and so I'll recommend somebody who is really good at that.
Hmm.
Um, but sometimes, excuse me, take a little drink.
Oh, yeah. Help yourself. I'll take one too.
I lost my voice 3 weeks ago and it's coming back slowly but surely. um, what was I going to say? Oh, okay. So a Batman cake. I had a Batman cake. And this was for my cousin, which I don't do tons of themed cakes. Like if they want a character on the cake.
Mm.
Now I love doing cakes inspired by.
Yeah.
That's the key word is inspired by this thing.
Right.
And so my cousin's wife wanted a Batman cake for her husband because he loves Batman. So I started thinking about how can I do that while still kind of staying true to my style and what I do. And so I ended up making a stencil, like the Batman logo, and I was able to do that. And so I videoed the whole process. And it turned out that cake was my most viewed cake of all time.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like just shy of 500,000 views. But I was like, of all the cakes, my Batman cake was the one.
Man.
So I do try to be open-minded if someone brings me something. And that's been something where my husband has really helped me a lot because I'm really good at being like, oh, I don't think I can do that. Like, "Oh, I don't think I should take that one." And he'll be like, well, think about how you could do it.
Hmm.
And that's helped me kind of broaden what I do, and take on some things that I might originally not have felt like I should take on.
Yeah. Has there ever been a time or 2 times or a few times that you just like this, I don't want to do this anymore. This isn't working for me.
Not with cake. No, early on, I had some orders for custom cookies and I did them. And then all of a sudden everybody wanted custom cookies. And so it for months, I was just doing cookies, and not really any cakes. And I think I kind of became known as the cookie lady. And I did finally have to say, like, that's not what I'm passionate about. And I enjoy the occasional, custom cookie, but like cakes are what I really, really love.
Yeah.
And so that I did kind of set that aside and say, I'm not taking any more excuse me, custom cookie orders.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I do love to make cookies and I love to do like buttercream cookies and things like that. But
I've seen them on Instagram. They look good. The pictures look edible.
I think they're really good. Yeah. And
Man.
that's my goal that
Yeah.
I mean, I would like for everything everybody eats of mine to be the best they've ever tasted.
Yeah.
Whether it is or not, that's up to, their palates, but that's kind of
Mhm.
flavor is my goal.
I think that's awesome. I feel like in anything that you do that you have a passion for, you want to be the best, and probably in your case, not only just the best, but probably the most unique
I would
cake
love
out
that.
there. The most unique cookie,
Mhm.
buttercream cookies, macaroons.
Yeah.
So the trial and error of baking cakes and macaroons, did it frustrate you a lot?
No, it was fun. Macarons a little bit because they're very finicky.
Uh-huh.
And so finding just the right just kind of learning that process and stuff. But I've
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it. But with cakes it was quite fun
Yeah.
because I realized that I could like make my own recipes.
Uh-huh.
And that was, a couple years ago, 2.5, I don't know. But that was just like this light bulb moment
Yeah.
where I can do this and I can tweak it so that it truly is my recipe.
Mhm.
And so my family ate a lot of cake.
Yeah. That's
Lots and
awesome.
lots of cake. But I would like Sunday afternoons after church, sometimes we'd all go to my grandma's house and so I'd bring like 3 chocolate cakes and
Yeah.
set them all up. And then they'd do like taste tests.
Yeah.
And so that was actually really fun and my family loved it. I've got
Yeah.
3 siblings that are still at home with my parents and we're all very close. And so, yeah, no, I really enjoy kind of the
Man,
trial and error of it.
we're gonna have to get a
We're
cake
gonna have
from
to
you.
taste test. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
No, we need to order a cake from you and give this a go. It'd be fun. Um, is there a special type of oven that you use?
Right now I have a convection oven. So
Okay.
I hadn't planned on talking about this a whole lot, but then my husband was like, talk about it. And so he's he's pretty great. You'll have to meet him in person. Sorry he couldn't come today. But um we lived South OKC up
Mhm.
until August. We sold our house, and our plan is to open up an actual shop next year. And
Wow.
and it's going to be OKC Sweets. It's going to be a dessert shop. And so in that shop, I will have a very specific oven. But right now,
Man.
we sold our house like to do this, and
Yeah.
right now we're living in a little tiny 2-bedroom rental home. Fortunately, they have a pretty good oven. It's a
Yeah.
convection oven, and I've been really pleased with it. But yeah,
Man.
kids are sharing a bedroom. They're in triple bunk beds.
That's awesome.
It's a party every day.
Yeah.
Very
Man.
close party.
Yeah, it sounds really close.
Yeah.
Speaking of OKC Sweets, we wanted to present you with
What?
a gift.
Oh, stop.
Well, we can if we want.
No, don't. Listen, like gifts are my love language.
That's our love
As
language too
are
for the podcast.
surprises.
Yeah.
And this is both of those things taped so well.
Well, we didn't do that. Joni, we did a podcast with her and she hand makes mugs.
Oh my word.
Yeah. And
Well,
so
I need her contact info.
yes, you will get it.
Okay, and do you know that rainbow cakes are my favorite?
I had a hunch.
I love rainbow cakes. It's like my favorite thing to make. This is amazing. Thank you.
So that's one of one.
Yes, it's incredible. Thank you so much. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Poured my water in this.
Yeah, there you go. And here's that from us
Yay!
too.
Oh, it's a soft t-shirt.
Yeah.
This is
We
awesome.
don't skimp on gifts.
I love it. Thank you so much. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. We get your husband on, maybe he'll get one too.
No, and then we can
We'll see.
match.
Ooh.
You could bring our children on if you really want. If you really want to bring some humor to your podcast. I did tell you we have a Home Alone obsession, and we actually made a Home Alone movie, and it's on YouTube.
What?
You can watch it. Okay. No, what's it called? Home Alone 7 Left in OKC.
Home Alone 7
like
left in OKC on YouTube.
7 minutes.
Okay.
And we're all in it.
Man.
It's a yes. I don't really know what else to say other than that.
Okay, we'll check
But
it
you
out.
should probably watch
We'll
it.
leave a comment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my one son is very proud of them. I mean, he like told us what to say. He wrote it, he directed it. It was his baby.
This guy's awesome.
And then my other son did a lot of the videoing for it.
Oh,
So
that's cute.
yeah.
That's really cool. Authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in 2020, you're going to open up the storefront.
Yes.
And when you mentioned your kids coming on the podcast, when we do a catch up, if you're willing to and you have time, bring the whole family on and let's pod this out and
that'd be fun.
Meet the family.
If you have really good editing, because I don't know what they would say.
My wife is in studio today and she does all the editing. So yeah.
Oh
man, has there been a I guess moment or two that when someone ordered a cake and it just didn't turn out right?
There is one. Well, my worst cake experience ever was years before I ever dreamt of opening a bakery. And I'll just make that really brief. But I had made all those desserts for my dad's 50th birthday party. And so a friend was like, hey, would you make my daughter's wedding cake? And I was like, sure. Because, you're in your 20s and you think you can do anything. But sometimes you can't. And so I did, and it collapsed. As I said, it was like multi-tiered. But my mother was there. It was a really bad experience. But I was able to like save the top, and we were able to make something that like was pretty. But yeah, so that was my very worst experience. I don't do wedding cakes anymore. But I mean, that was like, gosh, like 9 years ago now. Which is crazy. Or maybe 8.
Wow.
Maybe 8.
Man. So you've been after this for a while.
Well, that was like pre anything I'm doing now. I've learned so much.
Yeah.
But no, I did about a year ago, I had a cake order that just didn't go very well. She got it wasn't what she wanted. That was a really eye-opening experience for me to make sure that I'm very specific with, making sure I know exactly what the customer wants.
Yeah.
Because I think I do get a lot of just do what you think, because they see my style. And so they'll give me a color palette and maybe some suggestions, which is really fun. Can also be a little nerve-wracking because you're like, well, I hope you truly meant that. But this was just kind of a miscommunication. But funnily enough, the original cake, I had made a video of it and posted it on Instagram, and it was like my most liked cake up to that point.
Wow.
So that made me feel a little bit better about that cake, but that was definitely discouraging. And I think that night I was wearing a t-shirt and it was like, I forget what it said. Something along the lines of just trying to survive or something like that. So it really was a kick in the kick, but it was okay. It was a good learning experience.
Our design, our logo, DM. Do you think you can make a cake with that logo on it?
Oh yeah, I definitely think I could.
Yeah,
I definitely think I may have.
What?
I think I already did. You want to see it?
Yeah.
And it's gluten-free. So I just started playing around with some gluten-free flavors.
Oh man.
And so this is the second one I've done. So I hope that you like it.
Yeah. Let's check this out.
So this is a gluten-free chocolate cake.
Oh my goodness.
With chocolate buttercream.
Whoa. Wow.
Yay.
That is legit. That is one of the coolest cakes I've seen on this side of the Mason-Dixon. That might be the coolest cake besides our wedding cake.
I love it.
That is awesome.
I'm so glad you think so. And this is why I do what I do, because I love these moments of getting to show someone their cake and just kind of being a part of that joyful moment.
Yeah.
And celebrating with people.
This could be the second time we end this podcast. I don't know if we should eat that.
You have to eat it.
I mean, what do we do?
I have to know if that gluten-free flavor is any good.
I can tell you it's going to be good. Unbelievable.
Years on cake.
God.
It's great.
What do you think, honey?
Wonderful.
I'm so glad you like it.
Wow.
So glad. It was fun to make.
Man. That I'm like I'm blown away.
And it's on a black cake.
It's on a black cake.
It is.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I did the regular chocolate buttercream like underneath because I don't like to use a lot of the black.
Mm.
And so the outer layer is a pretty thin layer of black. So you don't have to feel like you're
Eating
staining
black food color.
your teeth. Yeah, and I use a super high quality
Awesome.
gel food color, so it's not.
Ah,
But it shouldn't stain your teeth.
wow.
Okay.
That's man.
So much fun.
Whew.
So glad you like it.
Oh yeah, we're gonna leave this up here for our next until we finish this podcast. Because do you have time to go through
Yeah.
a few more questions?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
We were talking about social media, and so you got our reaction on this, which was an amazing reaction. What happens? How do you deal with negative reactions? Like, so someone goes on your post and they like, dude.
So honestly, I've been really fortunate that I don't get a lot of negative
Feedback.
I
Yeah.
don't. There's a really strong community
Mm-hmm.
within the cake and cookie macaron community. And we just kind of support each other. And so now every once in a while, if like a big feed shares one of my cakes, so I've been fortunate enough to have Wilton Cakes share a couple of my cakes, which is like such an honor because they have over 2 million followers. And so
Wow.
that's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's always really exciting. And so, you go and you like read the comments. Usually it's like too much buttercream. And I'm like, scrape it off. Like,
Yeah.
that affects
Seriously.
nothing. But yeah, I definitely I try not to get my feelings hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, I can be a little sensitive, but I mean, you can't be too sensitive. If you're going to put stuff out there, you have to be willing. I mean, you have to be able to
Yeah.
get negative feedback.
I agree 100%. I feel like that's a genuine, authentic answer because a lot of people are like, oh, well, we got to be nice to everyone. It's like, well, if it's not necessarily what you think, I probably wouldn't comment and just leave it alone.
Right. If you don't have anything nice to say,
Yeah,
just don't say
because
anything.
really, I mean, someone spent some serious time and had a vision to see this
Mhm.
and create it. That's cool.
Yeah.
I would say, man, that's awesome that you took the time to do that.
Yeah.
Now, if it had too much buttercream, I couldn't tell you if it had too much buttercream or whatever. I mean, it's like, anyways, yeah.
I think a lot of times negative comments maybe come from if someone doesn't, someone who doesn't just really understand what all goes into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
Because with my cakes and cakes like this, it's very customized. It's from scratch. I'm
Yeah.
not using a box mix. I'm using high quality ingredients to give the best cake, the best flavor,
Yeah.
the best buttercream. My buttercream is made with pure butter. And so,
Man.
yeah, it's,
You want to eat it?
Yeah,
I wish we had
I'm thinking
a
about
plate
just like,
and a
man, can I
fork.
just- but no, I don't want to do that because it looks so pretty.
I know.
And we'll just have to. I want a few more pictures. With
But I
these
would.
so we can.
Can't eat it yet.
Yeah, we can't eat it
I
yet.
want to see if you like it. I did
Yeah.
it. I also made a pumpkin gluten-free cake.
Yeah, recently.
Our kids' school had a big, huge fundraiser event, and I made 4 cakes for that, and they were the dessert for the event. So we had a dinner, and then there was no dessert unless you bid on the cakes.
Wow.
And so I did a gluten-free pumpkin cake for that, and then I did several other
Mm-hmm.
non-gluten-free flavors as well.
Right. Yeah, that's
That was
cool.
pretty fun.
Wow. So what's the difference between making a gluten-free cake and a regular glutened cake?
Well, so I found this flour, King Arthur flour makes it. They've got great flour, and it's a cup for cup. And so you just take the flour that you're using and you trade it with this. And what I love about it is it's already like a fabulous blend of different non-gluten flours.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't have to like figure
Oh,
out
and then yeah,
the perfect blend. And
the
I've been
ratio.
really
Yeah,
pleased with it. So,
that's awesome.
but it is expensive.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I've seen that the gluten-free flours and just gluten-free
Yeah,
stuff in general is kind of it's a little bit pricier
it is,
than
which is why if you go into a shop and you buy some, a gluten-free dessert, it costs a little bit more than
yeah.
your regular dessert
I think
because
we
it
should
costs more
expect
to
that.
make.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
What are maybe a couple questions that you wish people would ask you, but no one really ever ask?
huh, don't know. um, I feel like I'm an open book.
Yeah.
And so usually if someone asks, I give them too much.
Mm,
I think an oversharer is
mm,
the correct terminology.
yeah.
So, oh man, I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that.
Okay.
See if I can come up with
No,
something. I'm
that's
sorry.
fine. No, I just
I'm
was
definitely an
curious.
oversharer. You
Yeah,
ask, and I probably will give you more than you were looking for.
yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. If there are three people that you wanted to talk to in person or on the phone, who would they be?
Definitely my husband,
Yeah,
and then probably my mom and dad.
yeah.
Yeah, we're really, really close, and my family has always just been so supportive.
Mm,
They're also my dad is just really so smart and
mm,
brilliant, and I just really respect his opinion.
mm-hmm.
And my mom is so wise and just thinks about things in a really great way,
Yeah,
and so she always has great advice, and she's my best friend.
that's awesome.
I mean, my husband is my best friend,
Yeah, no, I get.
but my girl best friend is
Yeah,
my
no,
mom.
we get it. Yeah,
And then my
that
husband,
makes
of
sense.
course, because he's so good at what he does, and he's in marketing and things like that, and so he's kind of my soundboard,
Man,
who I run things by.
you got to meet this guy.
I think he's great.
Yeah, just through social interaction on social media, I feel like he's a good dude.
Yeah.
Never really met him, but at least he interacts with us on Twitter. Makes me feel good, man. Thanks, dude.
That's funny. I'll tell him to make sure he keeps doing that. But there is something to be said for responding to people
I agree.
on social media. I
I
mean,
agree.
I try to do that
Oh
through
yeah,
Instagram. If, people comment on my posts and things like that,
yeah,
making the effort to acknowledge that.
yeah,
I think that engagement, it helps build relationships.
yeah. Speaking of social media, I ran across the post last night, and my wife and I were talking about. So on Instagram, they may take away. Is it the like hide the like or something like that?
Oh yeah,
So
they've done it. They did it in Canada.
okay,
My friends and I were just talking about this. I have a lot of Canadian friends now.
yeah,
And so they did like a trial in Canada, and they're getting ready to do it in the States. I don't know if they've already started.
yeah. I mean, because the United States is a big market because our country's so huge.
Yeah,
So it's going to be interesting
it would
that
be interesting.
I don't think that's going to affect you because whatever you produce, when I see it posted, like, well, that's pretty brilliant.
Thank you.
So you'll know that we think it's brilliant, but a lot of people are going to think it's brilliant. A lot of people are visual.
Well, and I think, and I may be wrong, I think you can still see your insights, like your
Yeah,
personal insights.
correct.
But it's just other people won't be
Other
able
people can't see
to
like
see
yeah,
how many likes a post has. Well,
yeah,
it's kind of funny. I don't know. People aren't very excited about it from what I've heard.
yeah. That's
But
interesting because I, from my own personal just coaching boys competitive soccer and just growing up, it's always been about the impact you can make
Mhm.
and not necessarily being the influencer.
Yeah,
So if you can just keep making impacts on people's lives, and there's going to be days when people are going through a bad moment or
right.
moments, and they see your post and like, "Oh, that cake looks so good. I want a piece, or I need to reach out to her and tell her how amazing it is." And just a few words will change their
Right,
mood
right,
instead of a little heart.
right. And that's where you kind of have to. And Instagram, they've been changing their algorithm and doing
Mm,
all sorts of things lately. But you kind of have to just that's not why I do cakes. Like
right.
I don't do cakes because of Instagram. Like
No.
Instagram is fun and it's a neat platform.
Yeah.
And I don't think of myself as an influencer. You know what I mean?
Right.
I have a lot of followers, and that's pretty humbling. I'm like,
Mm,
that those people like what I do. And so I love sharing that with them. I think it's a great honor when somebody
Yeah.
sees something that I've done and replicates it or shares it or, does something inspired by it. That means a ton to me,
Yeah.
because I'm just over here still learning myself.
Yeah.
So really it's just like the social media aspect is not why I do the cakes. I
Oh,
do the
I know.
cakes of the joy that that I'm able to share with other
Yeah.
people.
No, I agree. You've definitely made an impact just viewing your social media.
Thank you.
It's obviously a lot of vibrant colors which attract eyes, and the quality of what you produce attracts the eyes, and it's a lot of greatness going. So it's just about being unique. I don't feel like you have to be better than someone else, but just being different.
Yeah.
And that's what you've done, are doing. So hats off to you on that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's amazing. If you were to think back about, let's say, 10 years ago, what's something that you had a strong belief in, and then fast forward back to today? Is your belief still as strong, stronger, or not as strong?
So 10 years ago, I had just gotten engaged like 2 weeks ago, 10 years ago today.
Oh, wow. There you go.
And it is funny when you look back to like your 20s and just how like everything seems a whole lot just like more carefree and it'll all work out and things like that. And I think through my experiences over the last 10 years, I've realized that like it really will work out. Things are you're not going to be where you thought you'd be in 10 years, probably. I mean, I was a music teacher.
Yeah, true.
I was working on a master's degree in music education and getting ready to get married. And my husband worked in sports and athletics for the USA softball team. And, so we definitely are not where we were 10 years ago. But I think the things that have stayed the same are my relationship with my husband. My faith it hasn't stayed the same. It's gotten stronger because I've had to experience some difficult things in life, that have enforced that or reinforced that and helped me grow and become a more compassionate person. And so, I don't think you want things to be the same, right?
Yeah.
From year to year to year. And so my hope is that we just continue to grow and always keep the mindset that like our goal is not to be huge or to make tons of money or things like that. It's to have an impact for the better, on our community and for our children, and the world, and to have a good testimony. So
Love it. Wow. What's something you think you would regret in the next 10 years if you don't do it?
Not trying to open up a shop.
Mm.
Yeah, that was something that we, we've had it in our brains for so many years, 7 years, and kind of went on the back burner. And then my husband he and one of his best friends started a business together, co-started a business. And then, I've gotten kind of to as much as I can do from my home with this. And so, I think if we didn't go for it and give it a try, I think in 10 years we would think, man, we really should have tried. It's kind of like do it now or you probably aren't going to do it.
That's awesome. Wow. How do you want to be remembered?
That's a big question. I hope people really remember me for having joy. Joy is a word that comes to my mind a lot. Joy is not necessarily happiness, because like in life, and I've had some difficult experiences. I didn't mention this. My brother passed away 3 weeks after our boys were born, which was kind of like, that was a lot at once. And that's been really difficult, and it continues to be difficult. But I think having joy in your circumstances, that's one of the things I love so much about being able to make desserts and sweet treats for people, is that It's just like a little bit of joy that I get to share with people who are even strangers.
Yeah.
I get to play a little bit of a part in the joyful moments of other people,
Yeah.
whether I know them or not. And I think that's, I don't know, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome to get to do that. It's very humbling, and that people trust me to be a part of those moments and will order my things. So I think that's one of the big things.
Wow, that's very impactful too. Because earlier you mentioned about things you enjoy is about being in the moment, and it reinforces the fact that my wife and I, when we do this podcast and we meet guests, these are our favorite moments when we're in the moments with you, and this has been an amazing experience, and yeah, you have lots of followers, and the important thing is you're making such a huge impact on society and in a positive way, and we need more continued impactors in social media, in life, around work. We go to Whole Foods, need people to just say, hey man, how you doing? Something like that. That makes a huge difference in people's lives and their days. So how do people get in touch with you? Not your cell number, but social media wise.
Well, social media, OKC Sweets is where you can find me on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. I'm not as active on Facebook. So Instagram is a great way. I also have a website, okcsweets.com.
Yeah.
And you can go to that. We're getting ready to revamp that and rebrand things. So
I love it.
It's going to be changing, but
Yeah.
OKC Sweets will stay the same.
Awesome. And then in 2020, you're getting this storefront, and can you give away location yet or no?
Well,
can you talk about that?
I'll hold off.
Okay,
it's going to be
perfect.
North Side. It's going to be on the North Side, northwestern,
cool.
close to where you work.
Oh, wow. Okay. Very good. Very good.
So yeah,
Man.
but hopefully spring 2020 is kind of what's
Right on.
in. We've got some transactions pending.
Okay.
So
yeah. Well, last question, Stephanie, do you approve this podcast?
I do approve this podcast.
My name is Wong Lim, and I definitely approve this podcast. Thank you so much.
Yes,
this
so
cake
great to
is
be here.
amazing.
Yay!
What in
So
the
glad.
world? Wow.